Yo, Mabudiga. Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. The Red Road East is an indigenous program dedicated to archiving and preserving the history, legacy, and culture of the indigenous peoples of the Americas east of the Mississippi River and the Caribbean. How is everybody doing? Sorry that it's been a little while since I've done a live, but that's how life is. Sometimes we get caught up in our personal business and it doesn't allow us to do the things that we enjoy doing. And, you know, that's how it goes. But we're here now and I'm glad to be with y'all. And before we get started, I would like to highlight two individuals, okay? And I'm going to put their names on the screen. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'd like to thank. Oh, wait, hold on. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with this computer? Give me 1 second. Always having these technical issues. I apologize. Give me 1 second. T-I-O-N. Okay. And I'd like to thank Sacred Grove for sending a donation. Okay. Put his name up there. And give me 1 second. And the donation is definitely appreciated. And I'd like to thank Jamae Williams for the donation as well. Okay. And remember, no amount is too small. You know, it's all going to a good cause. You know, I'm taking every penny of that money, I'm putting it in the kitty towards upgrading the equipment to bring you better quality. Okay. Right now, I'm working on getting a new camera and some editing software that'll allow us to do better production. Okay. Um, right now, I'm just dependent on BronxNet, you know, the TV stations equipment, you know, and that's limited because since COVID, the availability in terms of hours is much less, which, you know, my schedule is very limited in and of itself. So it's very difficult to get to produce things. So working on getting my own. So like I say, every cent that you all sent is going in a kitty. Okay. So yes. And so this month, the month of March, is Women's History Month. And as you know, during Women's History Month, we always highlight the women, okay? On this channel, you know, we highlight the indigenous women, you know, who've contributed various things to our history, legacy, and culture, okay? And tonight, I have a guest who is no stranger to the Red Road East show. Okay. And she's going to talk about how she has contributed to women's history, and well, I'm seeing something here about checking spelling. Um, okay, what's spelled wrong? It's on the end of the computer. I know that because the computer's bugging out. It's not the keys are all messed up. Well, let me know what's the spelling before I proceed. Let me know what is spelled wrong so that I could correct it. Her last name. Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, I'll do that in. Thank you. I'll do that in post production. Thank you for pointing that out. And yes, so yes, she has contributed much, something very important to Indigenous women's history, and has actually fulfilled one of the prophecies. Okay. And our guest is none other than Donna Coane. Donna. Oh, let me. I have to unmute your mic. Your mic is muted. Sorry about that,
That's right.
Donna.
Hello there. I'm
Hey.
so delighted and in awe of being here tonight with you. And thank you for inviting me to your show.
Oh, you're
As
quite welcome.
and hopefully you can't hear the dog barking in the background. Oh, but no one's here but me, so I don't know why he's
Yeah, we
barking.
can hear him loud and clear.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Now, for those who don't know you, Donna, who may be looking for the first time, can you give them, uh, introduce yourself and give them a quick bio?
sure. I'm Donna Coane. My native name is Sunha Esquindo, and it means small deer. And I am the lead singer, drummer, producer, and songwriter of Spirit of Thunderheart, our all native women's drum group. And we are a unique drum group. We, in 2013, actually, we came together in 2000, end of, well, 12, I would say. We came together. And then in 2013, is when we secured pretty much the group of who we were. And in 2013, we decided to take a trip up to the Nammies, or I did rather. And that's where everything happened. So, but anyways, that's a little bit short. Would you like to say something fierce into that?
Okay, yes. So let me exit the screen here. Okay. All right. Yes. So Donna is a drummer, and she has an all ladies drum group, and she wears many hats. Okay. She's not only a drummer, but she is also a
I
Reiki master.
do.
Reiki master, uh, and quite a few other things. She's being quite modest right now. But yeah,
Uh,
you know, she wears a lot of hats. But I'll let you continue. But you have something very interesting. Well, I guess before we get into the prophecies, maybe you can give a history of your drum group and lead up to the prophecy.
we can do that. So, with the prophecy, a long time ago, there was a prophecy that was when the maple trees die on the tops, that's when the women would give back the drum would be given back to the women. So basically, when the maple trees die on the tops, that's when the women would get the drum back. And that prophecy has been there for quite a while. As we know, it's usually traditionally men that play a big sacred ceremonial powwow drum. It's always been kind of men in a sense, but us women did play drums long before that too, to begin with. But once people started to move into this land, things started to change just dramatically, where things started to change for women, and so that long-lived prophecy was a very important one that we kept talking about for many years, and so my group was at first 4 women, then it became 5 women, and then it became 8 women, then 2 women left, and then it became 5 women. And at first, I received this drum, beautiful drum. It's moose. The heads are moose. The frame is maple, which is perfect for the Northeast in both sense. And the drum was ordered for another drum group that I led. And that drum group started to fold up kind of. And so I ended up with the drum. And I was like, what am I going to do with this drum? And now I have it. Because now I need a group. Now I need people to share it with. And so one of my friends said, well, you know what? Come to my daughter's house and bring her family and we'll all open it up. We'll have a drum ceremony with it and we'll all open up the drum. And I thought, oh, that sounds like a good plan. I like that. And so then after that, we went to my friends. We opened up the drum and I was like, gee, what am I going to call this drum? But that night, after we were done, a thunderstorm rolled in. And the sound of the thunder sounded just like the drum. And so I thought something with thunder and the heart. The drum represents the heart, the heartbeat. And I thought maybe something with thunder and heart. And so my friend said, well, you know what? When you go to sleep tonight, you'll dream about it. And you will have the name of the drum. So I following morning, I woke up. I said, oh, I got it. Thunder Heart sings. Perfect. Because the drum
Wow.
sang so beautifully with its heartbeat. And so
Mm.
at that time, I was taking the drum into a women's lodge that I lead and using it within the women's lodge because I didn't quite know what I was going to do with it quite yet. And so I was going into there. We met our independent documentary producer for the first time at that retreat and invited her into the lodge. And she ended up working with us, recording a documentary about us. And at that point, we had another woman join us. And so we were 5 women. And after that, we had a 100th celebration of the Girl Scouts that we're invited to. And as women drummers, they wanted us there. So I thought. So yeah, they wanted us there. But when we got there, they said to us, where's the men? And I said, we're not men, we're women. We're women drummers, right? It was, kind of hysterical, right? And so then they were like, oh, great. Then now they're all excited, right? And one of
Mm.
the women that were involved in the Scouts was Anita. She was Anita. And so it was like perfect, We ended up inviting her on the drum, and we did the opening for the Girl Scouts, and we did a drum workshop for the Girl Scouts. And after that, I told the girls we got to change our name. I went online and looked up, and there was a group that had a similar name where we could easily be, mistaken for. And so I said we got to change the name. So I came up with Spirit of Thunderheart, and we were like, that's it. That's the name. So we ended up changing the name. And after that, we were getting together often. And I invited 2 other women to come and just sit there and listen to us, right? I just wanted them to listen to us. Not that I was going to ask them on the drum as of yet, So they sat there for lunch on that couch, were learned the songs, were singing the songs with us, behind us, that were sitting on the couch, right? And
Mhm.
next time you know, it became December, and we were doing our little December ceremony that we always do, right, for December, and so I told the girls, hey, you think it's okay if we invite the girls, have them come. I'm thinking about asking them to be on the drums. They already know the songs, and I just want to see whether they can sing and drum at the same time, which is very important. It's like, doing the rubbing of the head and patting of the, there we go, on the chest, right? And so, anyways, they came, they sat down with us. We did a couple songs, and I was like, oh my God, they can drum. And of course, they can drum. They're women with a heartbeat, right? And I'm like, wow, they can drum, right? And, you know, so I ended up asking them. And I guess our Winona was so excited that she ended up breaking the chair. I'm just sitting up. She ended up
Wow.
breaking the chair, right? And hysterical. I was like, wow, she got so excited she broke the chair. So okay, so now we have now at that point we had, I believe, seven girls. Yeah, seven girls, right? But then when summer came, um, that those other two girls broke off, which was probably okay in a sense, because the voices were no longer matching ours, and so they broke off. And there was some things going on there to begin with, but it was better. It was better. So now we have five girls. So now we've been singing these same songs over and over, like eight songs, right, over and over. And we were getting, gigs, and we were getting out, and we were starting to do powwows, and we were working with Clearwater, and we were working with Wow TV, the Women's Network TV. We were working with
Mm,
that with them, and we were doing all these really great things, and
mhm,
we were doing things the side of the UN, even with some UN, nonprofits, right? And
mhm,
it was really a lot of fun. And I said one day, we should make a CD, right? And everybody's like, yeah, we
mm,
have enough songs, we can do that, So I said, I think we should self-record and see what we sound like. Well, I had a Apple garage. I had an Apple computer. I had a handheld studio, which they're awesome. You can get them anywhere from 200 and up, but they sound like you're just like you're in a studio. They have double mics, they have synthesizer equalizers, they have everything on them, right? Mixer, everything.
mhm.
And so I invested in one of those, and I think I used something else too. There's like a third thing that I used. I can't remember what the third thing was, but anyways, those two things we definitely did use. So we ended up getting one of the halls in voicemail, and that my Debbie got for us, and we were down in the basement where it was pretty good audio. There wasn't anything that would reverb off of anything down there, you know. And so we were able to be there. We self-recorded, and I was like, we played it back, and I thought we sound awesome. I mean, we harmonized so
Mm,
beautifully. And so
wow.
it came to be like 2013, and I decided not to tell them, but I decided I think we should make a trip up to the Nammies. Just go up to the Nammies. Just mix and mingle, go to the show, enjoy the show, right? And I didn't tell them. Well, I went and got tickets, I got the hotel, got everything, and then a hurricane happened, so it got canceled. So it
Mm,
ended up being a later show. So our tickets were still being recognized, but ended up being a later show. So that's why I didn't say anything to them because I didn't want to disappoint them, you know.
mhm,
So I just
mhm,
decided not to say anything, you know. So when it came time for the actual show, I had to give them a good notice so they could get off from work, and have time to go. And so I told them, I said, way back when I told them there's going to be something to come up and you're going to want to be there. You need at least a travel day early in the morning and then the following day to travel back. You need at least 2 days and one night,
Mm,
no exceptions. You're going to want to be there, right? So that's how I left it.
mhm,
So then it gets canceled. I'm like, oh my God, it's canceled now, So then it ended up into later on into the year. So now here comes the
mm.
show. We go to the NAMIs, and we during the intermission we break, and we had these are our group's jackets. I don't know if you see them. Stand up a bit.
Sure.
Well, these are our group jackets, and we each have one, and they're heavy suede,
Wow.
heavy suede, and so we all wear them at our events, and I decide for a dress code wear best native jewelry, wear brand new black jeans, and wear a nice shiny shirt. See, I got a shiny shirt that shines. I
Nice.
have a lot of
That
those.
is awesome. That regalia is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So I said, wear a really shiny, bright shirt, right? And wear a jacket. The jacket defines who we are, you know? And so
Hmm.
we're up there, and everybody already thinks we're actually something, you know? I mean, we didn't even record yet. We just self-recorded to see who we sounded like,
Wow.
And so after we go back to the show, it was great talking with our musicians and getting pictures. We're on the red carpet, of course, and it was a lot of fun. So now the show has ended, and I told the girls I'm so hyped up. I don't want to go back to the hotel. I really don't. I want to do something fun, you know.
Mm,
And so we were in outside of the Three Sisters Cafe. It's all open in the front, right? And we just
mhm,
started singing out of the blue, just singing, having fun.
mm,
Two women turned around and said, "Oh, we loved that. That was beautiful," right? This
mhm,
gentleman turned around and showed his back of his vest to us, almost like he did it on purpose, right? And it said
mhm,
on the top of the back of the vest, Spiritwind Records, and on the bottom it said Native America's music. And then there's an emblem in the center, right? And
mhm.
my friend just says, "Oh, that's a record company." I go, "Yes, it is a record company." It's like, "Oh my God, let me get my business card." And I'm like, "Oh my God," I gave out all the business cards I had on me. I'm like, "Debbie, come out to my car with me so I can get more business cards." I said, "Brenda, watch him, make sure he doesn't go nowhere, right?" And
Mhm.
so I come back in, and I go over to him and I say, "Hey, this is who we are. We're Spirit of Thunderheart. We're all Native Women's Drum Group." And he says, "Whoa, stop right there." And I'm thinking, "Oh boy, forget it." He doesn't care. He could care less. He doesn't care who we are, right? So he comes out and he points to me and he goes, "I like what I see. I like what I hear. I want to sign you on."
Wow.
And I went, "Oh." And I'm thinking, okay, don't act like an idiot. Really don't. Calm down, you know. I was like, don't act like an idiot. Calm down, right? And so here
Mhm,
I am, right? I'm I'm like talking with them. So I'm asking them like business questions, like what do you expect from us, right? Do you keep our royalties? Do you take our royalties, or how does that work?
mm,
Do you get us on the radio? How does that work? What do you do
mhm,
for us, right? So he answered all the questions and questions that I actually liked the answers to. I was like, wow.
mm,
So it's native owned, native operated, right? And
mhm.
CEO of his record company. And I
What
said,
kind
let
of
me
money
call,
was he talking?
huh?
What kind of money was he talking? When you asked him those questions, what were his answers?
Okay, so when we sell our CD, it all comes to us instead of
Mm,
him getting a cut. That's what it means.
okay.
So basically, and so anyways, you know, I said to him, "Let me invite the girls over, introduce the girls to you, right?" So I called him over.
Mm-hmm.
I introduced him to the girls, and I said he would like to sign us on. And they're looking at me like deer in headlights. I'm thinking, did they not hear what I said? You
Mm.
know, like, oh, I don't know. They didn't hear what I said, right? So I repeat it again. I said, you know, this is Donald Blackfox, Spirit Wind Records CEO. He would like to sign us on, right? And then, oh my God, I saw Nona like, oh, I was like, oh my God, stop him right there. I said, oh, Donald, would you like something to drink on me, right? So I handed the girls money. I said, go get yourself something to drink and get me a bottle of water, please,
Mm.
right? So just to get them out of there, because I wanted to actually ask them more questions without them
Okay.
there, And so, so then they got what they wanted. They came back, and Donald said to me, he said, I would like you girls to come with me to the after party. And I said, oh, we'd love to go to the after party. So he said, yeah, maybe at Hard Rock Cafe right in town here. That's where the after party, Nammy's after party is, right? And so we went, and it was funny because we sat at his table, and there was a couple of people that were bugging us. And so he said, all these women right here, they are my wives. They're all my wives. Little Donna. It was so funny. I was like, oh my God, oh, you're like all his wives, right? But he had great humor. He was very talented. He was a NAMI winner himself. He had a drum
Oh.
group, and he was one of the NAMI, you know, one of the ones that kind of got the idea going, and and he was just he was sensational, in his
Mm.
business, and there's no other Donald around. And so anyways, after that, um, he said, come back tomorrow morning and visit me, which I did. We all did, right? And then I don't know why my computer's doing that. Get rid of that. But anyways, it's on the screen. But anyways, we did go back, and he said, think it over, and he did ask when we were going to record. I said, well, we don't have a studio yet. We'd have to find one, but we'll find one ASAP, And he said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but Tuesday, let me know whether you're on or off. Let me know, right? Tuesday morning came. I called him up and said, we're on, we're going for it. And I said, by the way, we got a studio. We're recording next Saturday. We have a studio, right? Our independent
Mm-hmm.
documentary producer actually she knew someone in the studio, and she hooked us up with him in his studio. So we ended up going to Nyack to record our first CD, and so we recorded our first CD. We did it all in one shot. We didn't go back and forth. We just did it all in one shot. He cut masters for us. I sent it up to the record company, and we kept some, and some went to other producers, and you know we I helped him, pretty much form the CD. I used my photography for just about all three CDs, and
Mm.
and then he finished it with graphics. But with the rest of it. But anyways, uh, now it comes 2014, and he submits us for a Native American Music Award, right? For our first CD. Our
Mm.
first CD is called Rising, and I named it Rising because I thought, you know what, we are women. We are gonna rise. We are gonna do this,
Mm.
and that's why I called it Rising. And so,
Oh.
anyways, we submit our CD, and it's like weeks later, I get a phone call, and he says, "Where are you?" I said, "Oh, right now I'm out. I'll be home in a little bit." And he kept calling me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm driving. I can't answer the phone really, right?" So I finally had to pull
Mm-hmm.
over at Barnes and Noble. I call him back because I just want to tell you that you are looking very good right now. You're looking very good. But it doesn't quite mean, anything. It's better almost that you're nominated because that comes from a special board. and the votes come from the public, but you're looking very good. And me, being naive, I said, oh, okay. You know, it's like, okay, right? And so after that, um, the show comes, right? And I have our independent documentary producer come with us, right? And
Hmm.
we go up there, and now we're at breakfast. We're at breakfast? No, yeah, we're at breakfast with all the record company, right? And our Pam Timmons is our great independent documentary. She's an independent filming producer, is what she is. But she
Mm.
did documentary first. So, anyways, she says to me, no, Donald was kind of standoffish. Listen, not that I know of. What it was because he was an announcer for the Nammies, he already
Hmm.
knew that we won.
Ah.
That's what it was about. So he didn't want to let the
Hmm.
cat out of the bag. So now, meanwhile, they want me to announce, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, and I told Debbie, I said, usually when they ask for announcers at awards, they're usually winners, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I've been at awards before, and I've seen, I watch all the awards on TV, and I've always
Mm.
seen that. And so Debbie goes, yeah, that's right, that's right. And the winners are Spirit of Thunderheart. We just always say that, kidding around, um, you know. And so, excuse me. Oh boy, might have to take some water for that one. But anyways, and so Debbie says, Donna, if we win, do you know what you're gonna say? Do you have something written down? I said, oh no, no, we're not gonna win. I'm not. That's goofy to write something down. No, from the mind and the heart, and it works fine. I don't need to write something down, right? She goes, okay, right? I'm like, oh boy, because Debbie's the oldest of us, right? Always listen to your
Mhm.
elders, right? And all right, so now it's showtime. So we're at the show, and they announced our category was best traditional, and they end up announcing that first. It's like, oh my god, our group is first. It's like, oh boy, So they show up, and I told Debbie, because Debbie was sitting beside me. I said, those other groups are really good. They are really good. I don't know, right? The next thing you know, and the winners are, and they say Rising, and I go, Debbie, who's that? She goes, I don't know. Spirit of Thunderheart. We're like, oh my god, that is us, right? And we all get up. I trip over the cords, and the woman says, I told them that was a bad idea for the cords, right? Then we go up in front, and we go up the stairs, and for some reason, I didn't have the stairs lit up, so I couldn't see the stairs. I ended up behind them. Debbie's following me, and someone comes running over. No, no, the stairs are right here. It's like, because we were the first ones announced, so we couldn't see what other people did. And so
Mm.
we were the first ones. So I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, right? But we get up there, and I I did okay. I did okay. I thanked the record company and our other producers, and of course, our families for putting up with us, and our fans, and and I said, unfortunately, I wish that our parents were here to see this. Some of our parents were here to see this because basically a lot of our parents were gone. You know, I know
Mm.
they were there in spirit, but you know,
Oh wow.
but it would have been nice if they were there.
Yeah.
Especially seeing it's like my father. That's where I learned to drum from. You know, and
Hmm.
he would have been really really proud. I think
Mm.
spiritually, I believe he was with us, and all the other
Yeah.
parents, Nona's and
Indeed.
JoJo's, and you know, I believe, and Debbie's. I believe
Mm.
they were with us. Brenda's mother was still alive at that time,
And
and
your
but
father was a drummer too, right?
yeah, my father was a drummer. He had a little group going through the Boy Scouts, and he wanted to pass the culture on. That was a way of him keeping it alive, and he had
Mm.
other actual Native men that were on the drum too,
Mm.
but they they drummed at a time when it was illegal to practice our spirituality, and
Mm-hmm.
so they kind of weren't really in the public doing it unless it was like a Boy Scout event and it was just the Boy
Mm-hmm.
Scouts, you know. But other than that, no, no, his buddies and my father were not allowed to actually be in public, you know.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, that's just by watching. That's how I learned, you know. And then I learned how to play the vintage drums, and so I sent it out, and I just kept going. And when I turned, um, I had a band when I was in my later years in high school, and after we graduated, we were still playing, but then we broke up. Some of us went to college, we moved away, and we did things. Some got married, and some disappeared, so it kind of ended. But when I um, was about, I would say when I left, I used to work for social services for child
Mm-hmm.
welfare, and when I resigned from there to raise my daughter, that's when I started to get more into my own culture. I kind of hid it when I was working for the government, kind of, you know.
Mm.
And I got more back into my culture, um, going to powwows and bending and dancing, and you know, and I always talked about I want to drum. I have to drum.
Mm.
It's just in my heart. I have to drum. Us women are the only ones that can hear another heartbeat within us, and that's the
Mm.
children we carry. You know,
Right.
within. Men can't do that. Only us women can. So we should be drummers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we
Yeah.
were at one time until that was cut off. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got involved in the local community, started to come back again, and I got involved in the local community, and I started a group there. I started us women dancing, I started us women drumming, and then so that was one drum group, and then a second drum group, and then both of those broke away, and which I kind of led, and then the third drum group, which is us now, which I lead now. Um, this is it. And one time when I also do women's lodges, and when I was at my own lodge at a retreat, it was a fire keeper, and he was really kind to my son. Him and my son got along really well, and I
Mm.
always brought my daughter. Beginning, I brought my daughter, and then my daughter got kind of grew out of it, and then I brought my son, to the retreats, and well, she didn't really grow out of it. She was still coming with me to other things, just not the
Mm.
stayovers. But one day, everybody kind of disappeared. I was like, where'd they go? Oh, they went for breakfast. And I was like, ah. I said, Hank, you want to go for breakfast with me and Patrick? Sure, sure. Right? So, we left, and I was telling them the story about the drum, how the drum ended up coming to me. And no one else wanted the drum and didn't want to be with me with it. So I ended up with a drum because I was the one that borrowed the money to buy it to begin with. And so no one would pay me for the drum, so I ended up keeping the drum. And so, anyways, I was telling Hank the whole story, and Hank looked at me and said, "That drum will take you places."
Mm.
I was like, "Huh, that's interesting that you said that." I was like, "Huh, I like that." And so we continued to talk. We ate our breakfast. Then we went back to the retreat, and you know, he passed on like before we won, long before we won. And
Mm.
I always think, does he know how important that was
Mm.
that he said that? How much
Wow.
that meant to all of us that he said that? It's
Mm.
just, it's amazing. I mean, just those simple words, you know?
Mm.
And, yeah. my son really missed him when he passed on, but and so did I actually. He was a great guy. He was always the
mm,
fire keeper, or most of
mm,
the time he was the fire keeper. And
mm,
he had he wasn't from New York, but he in his home state he had a youth group that he led, a wilderness youth group that he led. So he did
mm,
things, But you know, after that, when I think back of us winning, you know, and coming back home, and my family took me out to dinner, and you know, and then it was like 2 days later, I hear that the NAMI said, "We're the first women drum to ever win a NAMI." That we
mm,
had met
mm, mm.
and I was like, I mean, that's the highest you can go, to be a top
Wow.
league. And I was just
Mm,
like, wow, wow, that makes sense because it's a big men's ceremonial drum, and we
mm.
won. We're women singers and we won, and we met the prophecy. We've taken back the drum. And
Wow.
ever since I have always supported other women drummers. Just go for it.
Mm.
Get out there and go for it. You have the right to drum and sing and enjoy and love what you're
Exactly.
doing. As long as you do it with a good heart and good mind, you know, go for it. And
Hmm.
enjoy it. And don't feel like you can't do it because you can. You know. Of course, I
And
always
how
say,
many?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just
No,
going to ask you how many of those drummers, how many original drummers are in the present drum group?
okay, originally, right now we are back to four. Our fifth drummer that we had all along. Well, we lost one drummer out of the five. When we recorded the third time, she was not with us, so we had just four of us, and that was
Mm,
Mary Griffin, Debbie Fitchner, Brenda Martin, and myself. And
mm,
so that was us four drummers. And then Brenda moved down to the Carolinas recently, like during COVID, but she's still
mm,
signed on with us. Even though we've lost our record company, which I'll explain that through sadness, but she's still with us. We're keeping her with
mm,
us, so she will be with us when we go to record for the fourth time. I do have a new drummer now. Um, she is Melissa Lupa, and she is with us now. So now we're back locally to four drummers, and
mm,
we harmonize like everybody says we harmonize so beautifully that we
mm.
just our harmonization is just beautiful, you know,
Wow.
and that's what I've always looked for us all to harmonize. When we were
Hmm.
first seven, we we didn't really have that there. When we became the five, we had the harmonization. Then when we
Mm,
became the four, we had the harmonization. When we had the five, we had the harmonization. Now we're four locally, we have the harmonization. So that's what I look
mm,
for. And of course that you can drum. Like when the new drummer I heard her drumming, and I was like, wow, you know, let me interview a new
mhm.
four drummer. And
Yeah.
anyways, so now we're back to four, but we're really five still, even though she's down in Carolina. What I
No.
do is when I write the music and you know, produce the music, I self record myself, and then uh, my son goes and makes the CDs, and then I give them off to my girls, and I say that is your homework, and
Mm,
then we get together, and we usually get together once a week to practice. And then when we came together, I would have these books that had the words in them, and then we would just repetitively learn. I would teach them the songs, and because I already knew the songs, because I was the one that wrote the songs and produced the music, I was able to actually, teach them the songs easily.
mm,
And so with time, they learned the songs, and so that's how I always did it. The second CD was done that way, and the third CD done that way. And so the second CD is Unity. We were nominated and we lost by just a bit, but we were nominated. We were in a different group. We were out of the traditional group. I think we were in the traditional group. We probably would have won maybe, but we weren't.
Mm,
Anyways, but the nomination's still good. You know, to me, it's not really about the win. It's about that we can get out there and say, "Hey, we are women drummers," and that's what's more important, I think. You know,
mm,
in the so that was Unity, our second CD, and then a few years later, 2019, 18 into 19, I produced the CD Tradition, and that was our third CD. Our third CD at the NAMMYs, um, we actually, our whole table won at the NAMMYs. There was two other groups at our table besides us, and one by one they were winning. And then when they announced Best Traditional, all of a sudden we won. And it was so crazy. Our table was so crazy. It was so fun. But we all won
mm,
at the same table, you know. And I
mhm,
think that completed the circle, you know. Um, our fourth CD, we are going to do a fourth CD. I have almost of the music um, and words like translated. I have a little bit more work to do with it that I want to add to it. But that fourth CD will be called Rising with Unity and Tradition, Spirit of
mhm.
Thunderheart. So
Oh,
I purposely made it so that our CDs could blend together to make a fourth CD and complete that whole circle of, you know, us rising, bringing the unity, but staying in tradition. And that's what it's
nice.
about. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
like that. It's a nice concept.
yeah, so that's what to me that's what it's all about. And you know, bringing everybody together. You know, remembering about tradition, but keeping that unity. You know, and keeping that tradition.
Hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So that is us. That's Spirit of Thunderheart. We haven't been too active with our Facebook lately. uh,
Mm,
kind of drowning, but I guess because of COVID, you know, everything. I ended up being too busy in other things that I do, and
hmm.
you know, and there was COVID. There was COVID hit, and really in 2020, and that was the worst, you know, in the beginning, and everything was closing up, and things that we were doing, events we were doing, we that wasn't happening, and they had restrictions about, you know, being vaccinated, and you know, it just really dive bombed us in a sense. But then
Yeah.
2021, things started to get a little bit better, and we started to get out like outside things, and then 2022, it was even better. We started to get more outside things and then finally get more inside, and now it's like total freedom. Total freedom. Yeah, we're inside,
Yeah.
outside, and all over. So it's, you know, we're available for gigs, we're available for concerts, and you know, we've done. I and Debbie Fitchner, we did two theater productions actually. The first
Mm,
one was in Woodstock. Um, I'm trying to think of the theater. Jeez, I want to say Flamingo Theater. I'm not sure if that's right. Woodstock Theater, but anyways, I produced the native end of that production,
mm,
and it was like a dance kind of story out of dance and music. And I produced our end. There was a New York City dance group, Japanese dance group that came up, and the lead of that was she actually did her end with the theater. Um, and so anyways, what happened with that was that they used our music, we performed live, and I led the dancing, traditional dancing. within that production. So what the story was about. Oh, and my son put up our historical. He put together all of our historical family pictures, tribal pictures,
Mm.
and he did a thing in
Oh
the
wow.
background. So I played in the background at one point. And so what the story was what we were like as Native people in the beginning, before Europeans came, what we were like in the beginning. So that was the
Mm.
first part of the story. The middle
Mm-hmm.
part of the story was what happened when the Europeans came, you know, with
Mm-hmm.
taking the children, taking the land, um, enslaving our people, because we were the first slaves, and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, just murder, rape, everything was there, for our people.
Mm-hmm.
Disease. Disease was a big one,
Oh
smallpox
yeah.
especially. And so, we showed that part of it, you know. And then the third part, what we could have had and what we should have now. And it
Mm.
ended beautifully with the unity coming together and showing that even though we have differences, we are still human. We still breathe. We still bleed. We still have feelings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was showing that part that it doesn't matter what you look like, what we look like, we are still people. We are still the universe. And that was kind of like the ending part of what it
Mm-hmm.
should have been and what it could have been and what it is now. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really cool. It was really a really cool cool thing.
Mm.
I was trying to have a brain fart, so hopefully the theater but anyways, and then the second theater production was just 2 years ago. Since the
Mm.
writers' strike and and actors' strike and everything that happened, theater stopped. It came to a standstill, and even the movie that I was taking part in came to a standstill. And so it just everything just happened all at once. But in 2000 and let's see, it's 24, 23, 22. 22, we did another theater production, and that was called Rivers and Swamps. And I produced the native end of that also.
Mm.
And our part was we got to be on an all electric boat on the water, and we actually were me and Debbie, because we were the ones that had skins. Brenda has skins, but she's down south, so it was always me and Debbie that ended up doing theater. And
Mm.
my girls, I don't think my girls were too interested in it, but we
Mm-hmm.
invited JoJo to come. We knew that she would love it. And so, anyways, we did. It was me and Debbie. We used hand drums. We were on the boat, and as the curtain opened up in the theater, we were on the water on the boat performing, and you could hear us coming down the river singing, and then all of a sudden there we are,
Mm.
and there's the audience, right? And then they heard us
Mm-hmm.
as we went past, and the driver of the boat took us on a little tour of the river. It was nice. We got a free
Yeah.
tour, free ride.
Wow.
It was fun. It was so much fun. And
I
then
can
after
imagine.
that, yeah, so we had a show in the morning, then we had a show in the afternoon. So it was a double thing. That we did, but it was a lot of fun. And then me and the producer went to dinner. That was nice afterwards. But
Mm.
the theater was called Whoopie Doo. They are a national theater, and they do different areas of theater in different areas, and they include children. They invite children from either schools or groups to come and take part in the
Oh,
theater
nice.
production. So it was a lot of fun. And the Rivers and Swamps was actually, um, it was about the importance of the water. We need our rivers, we need our oceans, we need our swamps. Our swamps are kind of like the sewer of our land, and it filters
Mm.
out everything that would actually make us sick. So we need our swamps. We need our rivers. We need our water. The fish, the life needs the water. The water's the
Oh
Mother
yeah.
Earth island's veins. We need the earth even needs her veins. To survive, just like we need our veins to survive. And so,
Exactly.
the story was really a nice story about caring for the river and the swamps. It was a really nice story, and it was really
Wow.
fun for the kids. It was geared towards the kids, but it was a lot of fun. And so
Mm.
that was the second one. There is a couple others planned um, for either this summer or the near future. I did write a children's production. When the writers' strike happened, I stopped out of respect for what was happening. But uh, anyway, so I didn't quite continue yet because I became a grandmother and I've been busy. So I kind of stopped right now. But and two, I wrote it as an adult production, and I ended up switching it to a children's production
Mm.
instead. So
Okay.
I had to rewrite a lot of things, and I had to finish it because I had stopped during the strike. But I have not finished it yet. So, anyways, I was thinking of doing it in October. If it does fly. So we will see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know there might be another theater production this summer, maybe one or two besides that.
Nice.
So anyways, and yeah. So and of course I'm available for movies too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a part in a movie in 2019 in that summer, and I played it's called High Hopes 3. I played a native businesswoman, highfalutin native businesswoman that on the side operated a prostitution ring kind of. I was like a madam, and I had these sweater women underneath me that worked underneath me, and we went around kidnapping white men and taking advantage of them, and it was a lot of fun. That poor actor, I don't know how many times we tied him up and we had to do a cut. He's like, I'm kind of liking this. I'm like,
Wow.
on the taxi, I'm not, you all have to move over. It was a lot of fun. And then there was two guys. They didn't know that they were filming, but there's two contractors up. It was in New York City being filmed, and there's two guys up on the third floor that were yelling down, "Oh, ladies, you look hot!" Who were dressed like prostitutes. you know, crazy fishnet stockings. I had this snakeskin shorty dress on, and these high heels. I ended up destroying my big toe. I ended up switching over to high boots. Oh my god, it was crazy. But yeah,
Wow.
it was a lot of fun, and you know, it was funny. So the director and producer had the guy called the guys down. Come down here for a minute, right? He ended up introducing them to us and saying, "We are filming a movie. Can you please be a little quieter?" It was funny. I guess you know the filming crew weren't aware that they were even up there, which was funny. They didn't even know that they were up there. They weren't supposed to be working, I guess, but or
Oh
up there.
wow.
I don't know. It was funny. It was a lot of fun, you know. But we had fun.
That's funny.
So that was that movie. That movie was just nominated, actually,
Mm.
and
Oh wow.
so and then I was supposed to have another part in another movie, but it got canceled, and yeah, it just wasn't gonna fly, I guess, and it ended up being canceled. So yeah,
Oh wow.
that was that was pretty. That would have been a crazy movie.
Mm. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a comedy. Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, that one ended up canceled, so that never happened. I can't even say the title of it 'cause it never happened. It's not gonna happen, so there's no sense in it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But you know. But we're having a lot of fun between the music and the theater, you know. And
Mm,
I'm not really too into film. Really, I like theater better, but
really?
I'll do film. I still like
Mm,
film. I do like it. It's still fun. You know, it's interesting, and I can really get
mm,
into my part. You know, it's funny because when you do film, I've been on film sets before, and when you do film as an actor, you when you go to your break for the food, catered food, right, which is usually at a certain spot, um, you have to stay in your part. You have to stay in your role, and the reason
mm,
being because that way, if you slip out, sometimes it's harder to get back into your role, you know. But if you stay in your role, then you're good to go for the rest of the day. So a lot of times it's better to stay in a role than to slip out of your role. So
yeah.
I found that. But yeah, I do like film. I guess I like film. And I know it drives me crazy with film. It's a cut, and it's never me.
Mm,
Okay, I'm being honest. I never ever had to have a cut with me. It's not me. It's everybody else. The only
okay.
reason I know because my leg was hanging out of the taxi and the taxi was moving. I wasn't supposed to be in the taxi. That's why I know.
Mm,
But other than that, yeah, no, no. It's like no. I don't think I've ever forgotten my lines like in theater or you know
well, that's good. Yeah.
never. No, it's like a competitive thing. You just remember your lines and you get into that part. You get into that part. You know
Hmm. Exactly.
that
Wow.
prostitute looking in the mirror and doing the prostitution thing.
Oh, that's too
Never.
funny. But I wish I could have seen that.
It's like never in my life I would actually do that, but I had to watch like certain movies to kind of
Hmm.
get the feel of what I mean
Hmm.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
how exactly I wanted to act like a actual prostitute,
Mm,
like a madam, So
yeah.
it was it was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Wow.
I would do it again. I would do it again. But
Mm,
yeah, and it was fun. And theater
yeah.
is fun. Theater, I think theater you can't make mistakes. There's no cut. There's no cut in theater. When it's live, there's
Exactly.
just no
Yeah.
you just
That's
do it.
right.
Yeah. So I think some people always say, "Oh, I think theater's harder for that reason." I don't. I think
Mm,
I think because I
really.
have a very good memory. So once I hear
Okay.
a line, I remember it. And I actually the funny thing about theater is that I actually learned everybody else's lines
Mm,
besides my own because I was the lead of the music and the dance, and then the
mm,
other group she was the lead of her music and dance. So I ended up learning their lines too, and
mm,
and I ended up learning their positions. Um, when they came out, we went in. When we went out, they came in, so I knew what all the setup was. I
mm-hmm,
knew when the music came in. I knew when the video came in. I knew the whole thing. I learned the whole thing prior. So it's like I already knew because I written the native end of it, and then the theater producer, director, actually owner, actually put in their part. I learned all of that already, and it was. I think that's the way Mike can do it. You already know other actors' lines, you know, and so it kind of helps you not forget your lines in a sense. You know where to come in at.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's kind of how I did it, and
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we're over the hour mark, and
Okay.
we can always do a part two.
Yeah, we can. We can. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But your story is definitely always interesting.
Thank you.
Your stories, they're always interesting.
Yeah, we have a
It's,
lot of spirit of thunder heart stories. That can be part two. Like,
yeah.
like we have a lot of haunted stories, crazy
Mm,
haunted stories, action stories. We have funny stories. We have
mm,
super stories. We have all kinds of stories. Yeah, it's like it's never boring, never boring. There's always
yeah,
something
no, that's for sure.
happens, either at an event or a concert or something, or travel.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's traveling, but it's
Hmm.
always something. It's
Mm,
crazy, crazy. Yeah, but yeah, we can always have a part two.
definitely, definitely. I sure appreciate your time and joining
Uh,
us and telling us about the history of the group and the accomplishment and the fulfillment of prophecy. You know,
uh,
it's an amazing story there. You know, yeah. But
I want to end with we have I have to count them. I think it's 13. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14. We have 14 awards, silver hour awards from our record
nice.
great contributions of the Native American music industry, and that's
Mm,
what it's for. I want to say that out of memory, our Donald Black Fox, CEO of Spiritwind Records, passed on this past year,
mm.
and
Sorry to hear that.
we miss him. He was so very talented. We loved him. He did so much for us. He
Mm,
did so much for all the other musicians that were signed on for him, and it is a big loss for the Native American music industry. A big loss. So he's very well missed, and we all miss him greatly. And
mm.
so I wanted to end with that, and you know,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, but we move on, and we move on out of his memory and keep it going. And
Mm,
actually, a couple of years ago, his drum um, was donated to us. So we
mm.
have his drum group's drum, and it's
Wow.
beautiful. It's a lot
Mm,
bigger than our drum, not as deep, but it's painted with native corn on the front of it. Beautiful, beautiful painting
mm. Oh,
on the
wow.
and it has a wild rose on the side there. It's just beautiful. So
Mm,
yeah, so we're going to carry on their tradition too on their drum.
mm.
So yeah,
Wow.
we were
Nice.
very honored to receive that. Yeah.
Mm. And I have to get you one day at the TV station where you can do a performance.
Oh yeah, definitely. We
Yeah.
would love to do it. Yeah,
Oh, great.
we would.
We'll maybe we can plan that for
Yeah,
maybe next month or towards the end
yeah,
of the month.
yeah. Sometime when it gets a little nicer weather,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
a little warmer.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I think we will have a drive. We lost our driver. I think we used to have a couple of drivers, and I
Oh,
think we lost our driver. But I think now we might have a new driver. So
okay.
yeah,
Mm,
we're not really getting into New York City really a lot now. But you're
mhm.
talking like Brooklyn,
Bronx.
Bronx. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's close. That's a lot closer for us too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely. Yeah, just let me know.
Okay. Yeah. We'll
When it
look
gets a
forward
little bit
to that.
warmer, probably the best day to go down is I don't know. I haven't checked with my girls, but I think a Thursday, if it's a business day, would be a Thursday.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do weekends, but Thursday.
Weekends would be better.
Oh,
Um.
okay. Saturdays would be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
Okay.
Saturdays would be fine for weekends. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll look at the calendar and let you know what the availabilities are, and we'll take it from
Okay.
there. Yeah, that would
Okay.
be
That
great.
sounds great. Yeah. Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
we're over our allowed time, but we're still going. So, but
Okay.
yeah, I appreciate it, and we'll definitely do this again soon.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. It was a
You're
pleasure.
quite welcome, as usual. The
Yeah.
pleasure's all mine. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I thank all of those who joined in the chat as well.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
So,
So I'm gonna definitely. So I'm gonna close out the show now. Okay. Thank you, Donna.
you're welcome so much.
All righty. Take care.
Take care.
Okay. All right, folks. So, man, that was powerful. That was really powerful. And we definitely look forward to having Donna back on the show. And as usual, she always has, some great stories to tell, you know, and it's been a blast. So I thank all of those who joined in the chat and also those who viewed the show who weren't in the chat. Okay. And again, I thank Jamae Williams for the donation and Sacred Grove for the donation. And for anyone else who's moved to leave a donation, nothing is too small. The information is there on the screen via PayPal and Cash App if you're motivated to be so generous to leave a donation. Okay. And I'm going to close out the show. And I'll say until the next time, da da da, go on.